Poll bugle has been sounded in the world's largest democracy. The Election Commission of India has shared that they will announce the dates for the general elections today at 3 p.m. When all eyes are on the big announcement, India, of course, awaits to carry out the largest democratic exercise in the world as a country of 1.4 billion heads to polls to elect its government. Meanwhile, crucial developments are taking place across the countries as parties are consolidating alliances, political pantheons are huddling and strategizing with the aim to reach the magic number of 272 in the Lok Sabha. Now, most parties have announced their candidates' lists for the polls and many are still yet to chalk out their plans. Every party is gearing up for the polls, yet all eyes are on the crucial announcement that is going to be live streamed at 3 p.m. today. Joining us on the broadcast to discuss more is Lok Mehta, Editorial Director of India News, Joyita Basu, Editor of the Sunday Guardian, Yuvraj Pokhran, Political Analyst, Advocate Manasvi Thapar, Political Analyst, as well as Priya Sehgal, Editorial Director of NewsX. I'd like to take the very first question to Mr. Lok Mehta. Now, the largest democratic exercise is going to take place very shortly. Last time around, 67% of the electorate cast its vote. This is a significant chunk. Now, do you think this figure will increase this time round?
I think this is a historical moment for India because all over the world, largest population will go for vote, and then the women participation, especially 67% what you are talking about it. I feel that this time the younger people and the women voter will be the largest, and the percentage will become after the results and voting. I think this is a very, very good moment because from Jammu Kashmir to Northeast, or Kanyakumari and Kerala and Andhra and Tamil Nadu, you see East, West, North, South, such an integrated country, and especially the sensitive areas like we are affected by Naxals or the terrorism, and even then in Manipur, they are going to vote. That's why I'm feeling that the vote percentage will increase, and it will be a very proud moment for all Indians and who believe in democracy. The NRIs and all, they will also feel proud that Indian democracy is such a strong and peaceful. I think last time also it happened. Earlier years when we have seen how the booth capturing and all is done. But in India now, it's a very fair and independent poll. It will be a very historical moment for India.
Indeed, India is a thriving democracy, and you've talked about the youth and the women in particular, and I'd like to take this point across to Joyita Basu, who is also joining us on the broadcast. Now, India boasts of a 97 crore strong electorate. Now, out of this, 1.85 crore are first-time voters. Do you think the sheer strength of India's aspirational youth in the electorate is reflective of the thriving of our democracy?
Well, that goes without saying. The fact of the matter is that yes, youth vote is very important, and this is the first time that they are going to vote. And let's not forget people who are, most of these 18-19 year old people, they have been here, they have seen Mr. Modi as Prime Minister for the last 10 years, their political realization. So, it is very important, I would say, for the ruling party in particular to give a message that, looking at it from their point of view, from the point of view of the youngsters, it is important for them to convey to this young voter that you see whatever we are doing, that is so much better than what the other governments have done. Because when you are looking at the youngsters, of course, they are kind of right now, they seem to be totally aligned with Mr. Modi, but there are sections, I think Congress is trying to turn the young people's sentiment around by saying that, these people have not done anything for them. So when you're looking at it clearly from the point of view of the young voters, what are the opportunities they are going to get? when it comes to, say for example, that is why, I mean, that is one message that has to go out to them, you know. And this electoral bond thing, in fact, I want to say a little bit about it. It's come at a very interesting time, because you see what's happening now with this electoral bond. A whole lot of misinformation and disinformation, especially on WhatsApp, has been launched by the opposition. The whole idea is to basically to ensure that the voters who would be voting for Mr. Modi, including the youngsters, they do not come out to vote. Okay, because only when they do not come out to vote will there be an impact. There is a possibility of the opposition kind of making some headway. Otherwise, right now, I mean, today, looking at from where we are looking, they don't have a chance. But I think a lot of information and misinformation and disinformation is going on. So I think at the youngsters also, they need to sift these statements. They need to go and find out what is correct and what is not. Indeed. And they are in a position to do it because they are so much closer to the social media. They are all very savvy.
Indeed, our generation, especially Gen Z, is very tech savvy, constantly on social media, sifting through different applications. But of course, there is a crucial matter regarding misinformation. Mr. Mehta, how do you think this can be curbed?
I think there are a number of rules, regulations now, government also working on it. And the problem is not only disinformation, because the poor people, what Joyitaji was mentioning, that poor people, when Rahul Gandhi traveled there, but I think still, even after this all campaign and Rahul Gandhi Yatra, you see even the person who want to work, I've seen people like a plumber or electrician and this kind of job, the skilled labor, they are working very well in the cities also. They are coming from Bihar or Kerala or different states. But even then, they are earning every day 2,000 rupees by this skilled work. And skill development work also done by this government in last 10 years, they will mirror. That's why I feel that this kind of unemployment issue, certainly, even yesterday I was listening to Mr. Chidambaram, he was mentioning unemployment on the youth issue, but when how many people went for the recruitment for the police bharti in UP and other states, you see, even if you are working somewhere, then also you apply for the government employee for a government job. So I think this is very ridiculous. Just give a number that they are all unemployed. I prefer, because I have done a lot of work on this subject, and that's why I can mention it, that people who are working somewhere in a small shop or they're working in a private business or private company, they think there is some opportunity or there is pressure, especially in the North India, there is pressure in the family, in the society, or these kind of people say, oh, government job is necessary because they will save and you are not to work or you will get pension and all this. Because India is changing. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi talking about the self-reliance. Even the rickshawala or the normal person is just a shopkeeper, even a rehdiwala, he is getting 10,000 rupees loan or 50,000 rupees for his work. So people want self-respect and self-reliance. Instead of just giving everybody will give a job or we will give 1 lakh rupees per person in a youth and 1 lakh rupees to the woman. Even in the family, 4 young people and 4 women, then they will give 8 lakh rupees per family. Is it possible anywhere in the world? That's why these kind of promises and the WhatsApp, certainly, Joyitaji was mentioning, some misinformation also going on. But people, they accept what the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, depending on their network, how they are working on the booth level, and at least they should educate. In democracy, we need people should be educated. Even then, they want change, or they want some Congress party or some other parties are doing well, then certainly they will go vote for what happened in the last assembly elections.
I'd like to also bring into the discussion Priya Sehgal, editorial director of NewsX. Now, when it comes to the political arena in particular, it seems that the battle is between Prime Minister Modi's guarantee pitch versus the INDIA bloc's Nyay pitch. What do you make of these two pitches by the ruling government as well as the opposition?
Well, Devika, actually, the big opposition, or rather the Congress, has tried the Nyaya pitch earlier also. They came up with this in 2019 also. Then they lost track with the narrative, and then they, as is, they started talking about Chowkidar Chor, etc., as is the case with the opposition. So I think the Nyaya pitch per se is not a bad pitch. It promises economic, some guarantee of income. It's a good move because, as you can see, that, economic guarantee, jobs, these are big ticket issues that should be talked about. So the only problem is, do the people believe that the opposition has the credibility to deliver on its promises? Because this is also election time, is where you vote for those you feel who can deliver. It's not just enough to come up with a promise. Anybody can come up with a smart manifesto. So Congress has done that. Kudos to the Congress. But who will deliver on the guarantee? Rahul ki guarantee versus Modi ki guarantee. Whom do the people have faith in? That's going to be really what is going to be fought on the ground. And there, I think Prime Minister Modi, 2 terms, he still had that advantage. There's no strong anti-incumbency against him. In fact, most people are predicting, though we shouldn't predict on a day when the election dates are going to be announced, but that he is going to be coming back for a 3rd term. So given that, how does the Congress counter the credibility narrative? They've got a huge challenge ahead of them. Any other election, any other BJP leader, it would have been a fair fight. But against Modi, the fight goes up 10 times more. How does the Congress gear itself for that? How does Rahul Gandhi gear itself for that? He's got a good narrative, but can he be the face of the narrative? Can people believe that Rahul Gandhi unko nyay denge? That is going to be the toughest question for the Congress to take to the voter and convince the voters that actually Congress does walk its talk and they will deliver if they are chosen. It's going to be a little tough, but as you said, elections, anything can happen, Devika.
And Congress has made significant gains as far as Karnataka and Telangana are concerned. Can we expect this pattern to also permeate as far as the Lok Sabha elections are concerned?
Well, last elections also, the BJP made significant gains in Karnataka. BJP has a stronghold there. People vote differently in assembly and in general elections. But having said that, I think Congress has a better chance in the South. I don't want to really go north-south divide, but the BJP is still making inroads in the south. Telangana, I think if you, as we are talking today, the ED has arrested Kavita Rao, so I think that alliance with the BRS is now off the cards. BJP is going to be going it alone, and with good reason, because the other state where the BJP has made inroads apart from Karnataka is Telangana. But I would still say that in the south, the allies, the regional allies of the India Alliance, as well as the Congress, has a better chance in convincing the people, because the BJP still hasn't really, Prime Minister Modi is trying. If you see the run up to the elections, he spent a lot of time in Tamil Nadu, especially trying to, build up some sort of a connect with the people. But over there, his task is going to be tougher than it is in the north. That is for sure. Will Rahul Gandhi be the answer, or will the people look for regional parties? That's also the thing. It's not, vote may not really fall on the Congress's kitty. It may go to DMK in the Tamil Nadu, and Congress has a good chance in Telangana, Karnataka. These 2 states, I think the Congress will benefit, perhaps as much as the BJP, maybe even more.
And speaking about the southern states in particular, I'd like to take this conversation across to Yuvraj Pokhran, political analyst, who's also joined us on the broadcast. Should the BJP be optimistic about its entry into these states, particularly in Tamil Nadu, where K. Annamalai has been leading the charge?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, just a small correction. My surname is Pokhran, not Pokhran. Just for starters. And yes, would be very much optimistic, not to misconstrue with the word polynash, but BJP must be and ought to be very much optimistic with regards to the South, because we have witnessed the media. Lately, the media is rife with Annamalai and his speeches. And when one carefully waits and analyzes what Annamalai stands for, so he actually stands for the ideology of integral humanism that BJP loves to tout, the delivery to the last man. The ideological mooring of Annamalai is very much in resonance with the mood of the nation, Narendra Modi, and he stands for what BJP loves to peddle, tout, that is United Bharat, Akhand Bharat. He is the man that is breaking the shackles of the Dravidian ideology of the North-South divide. And when one carefully vets his speech, I mean, you must have noticed that he never indulges in the browbeating of the opposition. He never indulges in that saber rattling, dog whistling. He only attacks the opposition with regards to facts, data, and ideological issues. I've never seen him dog whistling. He never indulges in Hindu, Muslim, communal politics, Dravidian politics, the much touted the Brahminical politics that BJP is accused of. He always speaks on issue. And the best part is, since he has been a 2011 batch bureaucrat, IPS, so he knows how the system works. From the niche ka babu to upar ka adhikari, from the rich to the poor, from the old to the yuva. So he is the man that BJP is betting upon to breach the bastion of the South. And I mean, if you just ask my opinion in one line, to me, Mr. Kappu Swami Annamalai is the Deen Dayal Upadhyay of the South. He will be the key to the South for the BJP, and he is the man to look forward for. And on the record, he has given a statement that BJP is sure to cross a 25% of mammoth vote share in Tamil Nadu. So that's a very huge statement coming from BJP, from a party who never managed to reach even 2% vote share. I mean, 2-digit vote share in Tamil Nadu. So 25% is a very big stride. So yes, BJP should be very much optimistic for the South. That is my limited submission.
All right, and I'd like to take this conversation across to Joyita Basu now. 47.1 crore women are to cast their votes. Now, do you think the BJP has done enough to woo the women voters? They have, in fact, come out with the Ujjwala Yojana, the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Abhiyan, as well as the Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana and many other such schemes. Prime Minister Modi has repeatedly reiterated Nari Shakti, whether it is in the parliament, whether it is even on international forums.
Well, I am not a person, I am not a BJP spokesperson here, so I am not going to say whether he has done enough or not enough. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. You go and find out from the people, you know, what the women on the street is saying, what the women in your neighborhood are saying, what people are saying, and if you go by anecdotal evidence, I think women largely, at least in urban areas, and I would say even in the rural areas also, they say that yes, they are going for BJP. But then, you know, it is kind of a pan-India, I wouldn't say pan-India, I would say cutting across gender lines. So, it is not just women who are saying, it is also men they are saying. And always remember one thing, in large sections of the population, even now, it is the men of the household who decide which way the women will be voting. But you see, what has happened among Muslim women, I would say, is that, you know, our section of the Muslim women, you know, even though the men of the household, they have said that you are going to vote for, not for BJP for obvious reasons, they will say, it has happened because of triple talaq and because of this Russian scheme and all, they have gone and voted for BJP. And when you are looking at the BJP in particular, here I have got a comparison to make with the Congress scheme, that scheme, so-called scheme that Rahul Gandhi has been talking about, that they are going to give women who are, you know, who are just below poverty line, poor women, basically 1 lakh rupees a year, donation. It's basically the way you give to beggars, frankly. So that is the kind of thing, with no income, nothing like that. 1 lakh per woman we are going to give, per household, per woman, or something like that. Now, you compare that with the scheme that the BJP, that the Modi, Prime Minister Modi has kind of launched, that is the Lakpati Didi and the Mudra Loan Yojana. Okay, now what the Lakpati Didi does is that also aims for the same thing. A woman must earn 1 lakh a year. So, but at the same time, this woman is not, basically make her capable enough so that she can earn 1 lakh a year, and it is not a dole that comes your way, the things that you give to beggars. I am again going to use the word beggars because that is what it is. So the whole point is that, so that is the difference, I would say, in the outlook. Now, when you are getting women in the mainstream, in fact, recently I was at a Ajivika Mela in Noida actually, and there I saw the huge number of these Lakpati Didis who have been trained by this scheme. They have come, and they are the ones who are selling, who are making a living out by selling their products. So, you see what has happened is, you see, at the grassroots there is this awareness growing about earning your living, about why women should stand on their own feet. It is not just about Ujjwala Yojana and clean toilets. It is actually to have a sustainable income throughout the year. So, and that is where I think BJP, Mr. Modi is really succeeding, because it is not just the freebies. Of course, we all know about that scheme, that food grain scheme that is going on, still going on for another 5 months. I think they are going to continue. But the thing is, you see, the whole point is, you can give someone some food grain, but you will not be sustaining it throughout that person's life. You cannot possibly make a beggar out of that person. You cannot basically make a person who doesn't do any work. That is the problem that has happened with the Narega and all, where they are assured 100 rupees or something like 100 days of work, and then they don't work, okay, because they just become indolent people. So, I think that is the difference. So, I think that reach, and because if you are looking at, say, for example, the Mudra loans, I would say more than 80% or more than 50-60% of those loans have been taken by women. So, when you are combining these two schemes, now these women are kind of set for life. So, automatically that message of the Prime Minister is going to the ground, and frankly, everybody knows no government can possibly sustain what Rahul Gandhi is saying, we are going to give you 1 lakh rupees per year. Okay, it sounds very fancy, but you go and talk to the common people and they will say, where is he going to get the money from? He is lying, So, the whole point is that, you see, so it's but natural. Here is the problem that Congress does not realize. Nobody is taking them seriously.
All right, and I'd like to bring in Priya Sehgal into this discussion, taking the woman voter and the focus on the woman voter forward. Now, the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra has highlighted the BJP's endeavor to empower women, and of course, the Congress has now promised 5 Nari Nyay guarantees. Do you think the Congress can deliver on these guarantees if they are voted to power?
Well, Pia, first of all, I apologize for getting your name wrong in the earlier conversation. Yes, of course, I think the Congress, the woman voter has really emerged as a powerful force, and a lot of it is also the attention that the Prime Minister and BJP has also been paying to the woman voter, whether it is the Ujjwala scheme and so on, including the women reservations bill. Now, the Congress has to now also counter this narrative. One would have thought, earlier on with strong women leaders, the Congress would have already got the woman vote, but that vote has gone to the BJP, and now they have to come up with schemes and guarantees to target this section as well. The Nyay scheme is doing well, is targeting the youth and the unemployed. This scheme will, I think, do well in terms of targeting, again, women voters. But we come back to, we can debate the points and the details, but the point comes to the message and the messenger. Where is the narrative, credibility of the Congress in delivering? What have they done for women? They've sat on the women's reservation bill for a very long time. They did not pass it, even though Sonia Gandhi was pushing it herself. They somehow did not have the political mandate to push, to convince. The same people who opposed the bill 2 decades ago have now supported the bill under this government at the end of the day. And these are Congress allies, whether it is the JDU who's been doing truck with the Congress, also Samajwadi Party, RJD. So end of the day, it's your persuasive quality, your leadership skills, your governance skills. These are the larger narrative that come to the picture on the day of elections. Can the Congress deliver on all these things? We find that they are okay with the basics, but when it comes to the big picture, the leadership, there is a vacuum. Rahul Gandhi is still emerging as the face of the Congress. Whatever they may say, he is the, in any poster, I think we will not see so much as Kharge's face, but Rahul's face. Because Kharge is not being allowed to take the lead and take charge of the party. Candidates are not being decided because Rahul is on his Bharat Jodo. When he comes, then he decides, he has the final call. These things are not noticed by the public. So first thing, I think the Congress needs to get its leadership in place, whether it is with the India Alliance, and the entire alliance has to get together, come up with a big picture narrative, and then go ahead. It's now we are at the finishing line. At the starting line, the pistol is going to go off today. The race will begin. So, it's already too late in the day to come up with things. Good, they're coming up with points, and I'm happy. The narrative building is not bad. The Congress has a good manifesto team with Chidambaram in place, but where do they go from here? That's going to be the big question.
All right, and I'd like to rope in Mr. Alok Mehta. We've spoken about the BJP, we've spoken about the Congress. Now, do you think this election will witness any third political party, joining the BJP and the Congress in their positions of a national level party?
I think it's a very difficult, Mamata Banerjee had very good positions earlier in West Bengal. But you see, after this Mahagathbandhan failure, I think she is not emerging. Otherwise, she was also a Congress leader. She was originally from Congress, from Youth Congress days. She was working hard. Sharad Pawar, now he is very old. So these kind of people, NCP was earlier with the Congress party itself. And Sharad Pawar, some time he with Congress and sometime anti-Congress and all the time. So you see, national level, there is no alternative. The BJP, even the Congress is losing. Unfortunate parties. Certain democracy, and even the Prime Minister, not myself, but the Prime Minister Narendra Modi also mentioned everywhere that we want in democracy, good opposition. We welcome any opposition, but it's a constructive opposition. Not all the time just criticizing or condemning or the confusing people or making noise, unnecessary issue or corruption. And this Parivarwad family, all the family members, Lalu Yadav family, or everybody is facing charges. Most of the family members of the Lalu Yadav, especially how they can come emerge as JDU is there, but Nitish Kumarji was also earlier was emerging as a opposition leader. But now he joined because he thought, okay, they were making fool of my. So that's why he again joined the NDA. So I think this kind of for national alternative. But here I just wanted to also mention about the woman issue, the self-help group in the woman. And not 5 years back when I visited Dantewada, can you imagine? Yeah, that in Dantewada I have seen tribal women, which is a very Naxal affected area, and people were, because at that time the Raman Singh government was there, now he is assembly speaker, and the BJP was also ruling at the central level. But you see, people were working in tribal area, self-reliance, the women, they want self-respect, especially in Northeast also, the men, the women dominate in the family. That's why the schemes for the women, they want that they should have self-respect with self-help group. Even in Chhattisgarh, in Rajnandgaon, one got the Padma Shri because the 25 crores the self-help group collected and working very well. The self-help group, women group. So you see, these kind of empowerment we want in a democracy, and that's why I think not the question of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi or BJP or anybody. What the mission of Prime Minister Narendra Modi or Indian government, that everybody should feel that they can work and they can earn. For the food grain, people just even criticizing some in the cities and metros. That's why I want to mention, if you have a food grain, because we have a lot of more stocks, we are not in those days when we used to get the Lal Gehu. Yeah, you must have not seen or heard about it, but when I was a student, then I've seen in 70s. Then the American grain we used to at home from ration card. So now the people are self-reliant, and if they get the food grain for their family, then they can earn more money for their children education, for other facilities, or even for housing schemes. Government also giving some money there, or Shauchalaya, or any other facilities. So I think for the whole rural area, especially for women and for the family, I think this is the target, this election. That's why for last point about the South India. Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh RSS was also working since long in south and also in northeast. That's why in Assam now the government, not just only because of the BJP, just because in northeast they were working since long in Arunachal Pradesh and Assam and all other states, because that's why they are in power there. And in Karnataka, I was covering in 1982 elections when Lal Krishna Advani was getting good response from the public. So the BJP and RSS working since long. That's why in South India they have roots. Certainly, it's not necessary that you get a majority, but in Karnataka certainly they have the majority, and then again in Lok Sabha maybe they will get more votes depending on the situation. But that's why in Kerala they don't get the power, but at least they are going for next 10, 20 years. What Prime Minister Narendra Modi mentioned about the 2047 is not talking about for just this election. He's talking for next 30 years, 40 years for India. Nobody will be there like us, but even then we feel proud that at least India will be more self-reliant, our next generation will be more powerful than anywhere in the world.
I'd also like to rope in Yuvraj Pokhran into the discussion. Now let's talk about the Aam Aadmi Party. Kejriwal has gained some ground since the 2019 general elections. How do you think the Aam Aadmi Party will fare this time round?
Priya, if you ask me frankly, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal with his Aam Aadmi Party, Band Baja Bharat, is a misnomer, the national polity. I'll just give you a small data, an anecdote of the recent past. Recently, we witnessed elections to 5 states of India. And if I'm just to quote the election data of Madhya Pradesh, Aam Aadmi Party batted for 66 seats in Madhya Pradesh. And you know what? They lost deposit in all of the seats. So Aam Aadmi Party does not enjoy a good base across India. Yes, it has its presence in the state of Gujarat, Punjab and Delhi. So it's not a national player. That's one thing that I'll give kudos to Aam Aadmi Party, that somehow they've managed the art of media, managing media, publicizing in social media and creating a flutter with regards to election when it comes to competing with BJP. And in the league of competing with BJP, creating and setting narratives, I don't see Congress anywhere near the league. But yes, the best competitor to BJP in the national domain is the Aam Aadmi Party, but only when it's about creating a flutter. But come May elections, as elections near, Aam Aadmi Party does not have the sufficient number of karyakartas, the voters to cover the booths. I'll just give you another data example. I've covered Gujarat election. In Gujarat, there are more than 51,000, nearly 51,000 booths. And trust me, Aam Aadmi Party, with all its might, does not even have one karyakarta per booth. So how can they compete with BJP when it comes to national polity? So that's out of the question. Yes, they can create the narrative, they can spin narrative, and that's all I can give to them. Nothing more than that.
All right. And, Mr. Mehta spoke about Vision 2047, and I'd like to take this across to Joyita Basu. How crucial do you think the upcoming elections are to set India on a path to be a major global power in the Amrit Kal?
Well, listen, when we are looking at Viksit Bharat and say 2047 as the target that has been given, we are looking at basically increasing the per capita income according in GDP terms. Say our per capita income is something in the range of 2,500 or 600-700. So until and unless we are going up to almost say 5,000, 6,000 level, what China was around say 12 years back, we cannot call ourselves developed, and that's a humongous task. But yes, thankfully what has happened is that the groundwork is being done now. What we are witnessing is the groundwork that is being done when we are looking at, say, for example, the poverty numbers. India is coming out, more or less coming out of extreme poverty, and that itself is a huge feat. Now, I would say it is 11% or something like that, which was, I think, even 10 years back, it was, I think, around 40 or 50%. So that's a huge jump that has taken place in terms of, I mean, jump in a good way, I mean, coming down the numbers. So apart from that, but yes, at the same time, what we have to think of in terms of is, you see, and also our population rate also, although we have a demographic advantage, the demographic advantage you cannot really, it has a huge potential, but you have to know how to exploit it. So I think one good thing that is happening is that employment opportunities are being created. Say for example, and employment opportunities are not just being limited to India. If you see, so many of them are being sent to, even if say 1 lakh or 5 lakh people or 2 lakh or 1 lakh people also, if they are sent to Israel, okay, some people will be saying they are going there as laborers and all, but people who have that kind of capacity, who have that kind of knowledge, that is the knowledge they have. You need to, these are blue collar workers. You have to generate employment. If you are not getting that employment in this country, you have to reach out to the other countries who are willing to take your people, and they will be working over there. So many of our people, they are working in the Gulf, for example, but at the same time that ecosystem has to be created, that more people become entrepreneurial, and you see, that is why all these government schemes, etc., are very important. You see, there are so many things that need to be done, and I think the government is on the right path right now. We are talking about having our, that's by meeting that SDG goals by 2030. So I think India is on the right path, but yes, it's a humongous task. A lot more has to be done.
And speaking of mammoth tasks, now elections are a mammoth exercise in India. We have successfully managed to conduct free and fair polls since independence. Mr. Mehta, do you think India is an example of a mature democracy for the entire world? And do you think it is time for the world to recognize us as a mother of democracy?
Existing parties, now you see the Trump is again re-emerged there as a presidential candidate. So you can imagine, at least sometimes we are critical also system, and they have the same thing is happening in Britain. You see, there will be election in both countries this year almost. So this situation is there. They're also now they're thinking that again Labour Party is coming, and there were so many problems, economic problems they are facing. So the democracy in such countries. Germany is stable, but even then they are also facing problems because of the other reasons. So I think our democracy already people are accepting. Either the American President Biden or Trump or our British Prime Minister or the French President or the German Chancellor, everybody they are appreciating. That's why it's not a question of our certification. You see, now people maybe, to some extent, sometime recently, what they talk about, they were this new law NNA, they said, okay, why they are doing this citizenship? This kind of misconception was there about our new laws and regulations, what we are giving for the people who come from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and they forget about the even Americans, Foreign Office, they don't know that how they accepted the Jews when the Hitler was there. So in dictatorship, either in Bangladesh, earlier those days when we supported for the Bengalis and in 71 war, and they are independent. Same thing for the Hindus and Jains or Parsi or even the Christians. If they face some problems in these countries after the partition, certainly we are giving our citizenship to those people. But that's why I'm saying the Indian democracy is more vibrant, more openness. Even we accept everybody for foreign investment. Even the China also sometime they are creating problems with Pakistan on our borders. But for business, they also still want a good business with India. Only problem with the Pakistan because they are not very much confused, and all the time sometimes people want the Indian support, and the Pakistan occupied Kashmir people, they are suffering and they want progress like Indian Kashmir. That's why I think this kind of situation, the Indian democracy is very vibrant, and people are already accepting the power of the main power of the India, the business power, the natural power, the tourism, in every field. That's why our culture, ancient culture, and the present modernization and digitalization. You see the NASA and all, what they are doing. They are our engineers and our technical people. They are supporting the hospitals in the United Kingdom. Depend on our Indian people there. They are the best doctors available in the world. That's why I feel that now already our democracy, maybe we are not called as a developed country, but even then we are very close to those countries and working hard. Maybe because of our population and other problems and the earlier years, the corruption and the number of problems were there. But now at least we are in a right directions, at least for the future.
All right, and last question to Yuvraj Pokhara. What do you look forward to most in the upcoming elections?
Priya, this election to me is nothing but a personal fight of the credibility of the opposition, the dotted India line, and the credibility of PM Modi. I'll just quote a few data. 1971, Indira Gandhi said, Garibi Hatao. 1985, Rajiv Gandhi ji reiterated Garibi Hatao. 2010, Sonia Gandhi ji said Garibi Hatao. And 2023 till date, Rahul Gandhi is saying Garibi Hatao. But what Modi did is, today the LPG coverage is 98%, toilet coverage is 98%, bank coverage, the BJP says is 99%. So is the optical fiber coverage, electric coverage, tap water coverage. So what they did is, they touched the jugular vein of the nation. जो कहा जाता है रोटी कपड़ा मकान, they're delivering roti, they're delivering kapda, they're delivering makan, and that is why the armed populace, the garib gurba janta is with the BJP. It doesn't matter to the BJP what elites think, it doesn't matter to the BJP what Lutyens think. So they have the pulse of the nation, and that is why Modi ji said in the parliament, ek akela sab pe bhari, and he himself cleared the tone of this election. It is Modi versus the entire opposition, and that's why ek akela sab pe bhari. So this election is Modi, Modi and Modi. Nothing much, nothing less.
All right, with that I would like to thank all the panelists who've taken out time to sit with us on this broadcast.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.